podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Nicole, Bobby T is back. International week. Fucking hell, Nicole. Achtung, it's been too long. Thank God we're nearly here. This is my preview for Saturday's Derby game. Derby, the Rams versus the Lions. Anyway, this is what I think. Showing it got cut off there. In a nutshell, it's going to be our Derby. I know Mugs. They've got a strong unit, a good team. They're bringing 3,000 fans down. I'm not going to give a preview any prediction because it's a must-win because we're not really good at home. Josh Corbin, Bradshaw, apparently they're coming back to training. So apparently they're going to be on the bench. But we got, Mahida's got to start. Langstaff, fourth. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's what I've heard. Even Mayer's on the bench. They're all back to fitness. I don't want Bradshaw near the team. Derby are strong, powerful. This won't be easy Saturday. They're bringing 3,000 fans. I'm just glad we're back to our church, the Den. No one likes us. Can't give you a prediction, but we have to be at our best. Bye for now. Bobby T.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Achtung Millwall on a beautiful autumnal sunny afternoon here in South Bermondsey. My name is Nick Hart. You're listening to the number one Millwall podcast. Big thank you there to Bobby T for that intro. He predicts a tough game. I think I'm with you there, Bob. I think it's going to be a difficult one against Derby County, dear listeners. The Lions and Derby are just coming onto the pitch, as you can tell behind me. Your Millwall side this afternoon, dear listeners. Lucas Jensen in goal, backline Ryan Leonard, Jake Cooper, Jeffet Tanganga and Joe Bryan. Not everyone's choice, but there he is. He's back, probably for his attacking skills. I'll pause there and let you make your own comment. In front of that back line is George Saville, Casper Donor. The attacking three, George Honeyman, Romain Esse, Duncan Watmore, Macaulay Langstaff, who's speaking to the South London Press website, asking about his scoring goals. He says, did I think it was going to take time? He did, of course, open his account against Preston. I did realistically in my head, he says, but you're naive as a striker. You just think, put me on and I'll score goals. But he knows he's up a level here. Clearly the manager's been doing work with him. He's, I think, becoming a much stronger player in recent games. I like the look of him, becoming a creator as much as a scorer. So there we are. Derby County this afternoon in a yellow and blue ensemble. Lions, of course, in traditional blue and white. It seems to have been a while since I was down here, dear listeners. I missed the game against Preston. I had to follow it from the Oktoberfest via social media. A few steins in, but sounds like a very pleasing performance. I did have a look at the rerun on the Monday morning ahead of the show with Merv that we do. Good performance overall. I think we're going to need something similar this afternoon. Derby come into today's game looking for an away win. They've been strong at home, not so much away from home, so they'll be looking to put that to rights. And we, of course, have a sequence of home matches. One away game at Swansea looming, but we've got Plymouth again in midweek here, and then Burnley, I think it's Leeds after that. So a series of big home games that we'll be looking for points from. Let's get it right. We want to win, and we're starting today here against Derby. Bit of a rush to get over it, dear listeners. The Rotherhithe Tunnel closed on me as I was queuing to get into it, so I've had to come via Tower Bridge, and anyone that ever is forced to travel over from the east side south via Tower Bridge knows what a nightmare that is. I'm a bit hot and sweaty at the moment. I apologise if I sound breathless. It's going to be Derby that kick us off, attacking the cold blow. Mill will be attacking the away end as per the dictums and teachings of the Venerable Bede, Archbishop of Canterbury in ancient Anglo-Saxon times, but with the foresight to say that Mill must always attack the away end in the first half. He put that specifically in his Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, dear listeners. Check it out, have a read, it's all online. Away we go. Great early tackle from Romain Esse from the kick-off practically. A little scuffy clearance there by Lucas, gives the ball straight back to Derby. Chance for them to attack on our left side now. They're coming into the penalty area. That's a great bit of work by Jeffet Tanganga. Shot across the goal, but over the bar at the same time. 2 minutes in. We'll probably see it more on Wednesday night, but apparently we've had a new set of floodlighting fitted in the den this afternoon. The floodlights are on, not in need yet. I suppose as the afternoon goes along, it will do this time of the year. LED floodlights by a Belgian company called Maxamaze. We'll see how amazing Max is when it gets a bit darker, I think, listeners. But yeah, new floodlighting installed here at the den. And a new bar open on the site of the old club shop down at the Coldblow Lane end on the corner of the Dockers and Coldblow. Ball breaks, Romain Essay through the middle, who's trying to find Langstaff there, just blocked by a defender there. This is going to be a throw-in for Millwall. Nice little moment break there by Romain on 3 minutes. This is the applause of Matt Smith's young son. Very tragic story. Play continues. George Savile's going to take the corner. 4th minute applause though for Matt Smith. Young boy passed away tragically. It's hit on the volley. Comment offside. Hit on the volley by Joe Bryan. Straight back to George Savile, who's in the offside position there. This is at the corner flag. Madison Smith, R.I.P. Yeah, so it seems a long time since you and me spoke, listeners. I went up to West Brom. It was a funny old trip, I find, West Brom up there. But so I was there, that was 2 weeks ago. But it seems the international break is interminable, dear listeners. Don't you find that? You have to drag on with games, stacks of games that don't really touch your soul somehow. Anyway, we're back to life now. Savile clips in the centre of the pitch there. Some game time for him for Northern Ireland versus Belarus. Started that 0-0 draw for Northern Ireland. Well, didn't play against Bulgaria, 5-0 win, so good result for the Northern Irish there. Mihailo Ivanovic was involved with the Serbian national side. Romain Essay for the English Elite Leagues squad. And Idemo Marku for the Republic of Ireland, their under-21 side. The ball, that move breaks down. This gives Derby a chance to break, dear listeners. 27 on the left side. There's Joe Bryan, lovely little touch, lovely little cut-out, blocked out. Again, I'm going to have to revisit my opinion of him if he keeps doing stuff like that. That was good. Yeah, so 1 or 2 listeners did ask me about a little conversation. Let's call it a conversation I had up there at West Brom. Anyone listening to this show, if you do see me at an away game and I'm doing this, speaking into a microphone, I am not old Bill. I can see how you might think a man speaking into a microphone is indeed an agent of the Stasi, but I'm just an eccentric doing a podcast for your listening pleasure. And it was all right, they shook hands with me. I don't know if someone recognised me in the end, rather than being a member of security services, you know. We all laughed about it. Ha ha ha. All powered in towards Romain Essay. He's got George Honeyman on the right side. The ball shot at the goalkeeper there, nicely done. Batted away by the goalkeeper, right-sided. Corner, nice move. First shot of goal on target from the middle side there, but Honeyman took it in full stride there. It was on target. The goalkeeper batted it away. It's going to be a right-sided corner, as I've said, 15 minutes. Nice little overlapping run there, and from a tight angle, he's hitting the target. That's all you can do. Ryan Leonard on one knee at the moment. Well, you don't want to see him leave. He's had a good run of not being injured. He's running off the pitch with some treatment. Looks like he took a bump on the head in that little melee. Looks like he's got some blood coming, so it might be a bit of claret to be dealt with. Good ball from George Hamlin. Lovely little turn there by Romain Essay. He gets clipped. The referee sees nothing. How can he not see that? It's a beautiful turn, beautiful spin. And then he gets clipped and goes down clutching his ankle. And the referee doesn't see it. Should have been a free kick, listeners, as it is a left-sided corner. We're on 21 minutes. Here it comes. Deepest fight. It was Jake Cooper on the back. He gets his head to it. Still in the midst of a melee there. It's overhead kick clear. Little moment of confusion there. Jake did get ahead of it. No real power on it, but into the mix of bodies. Halfway point of the first half. Mill starting to Play some nice stuff, listeners. For the flowing football. Derby've had a few forays forward so far. That's going to be a... No, not giving us a free kick. The referee's letting stuff go that I would have expected to see a free kick for when he's given some of the others. Lovely little 1-2, Liverpool Langstaff. Oh, he hits the crossbar in close range. Beautiful 1-2 throw, finds Langstaff. Shot onto the crossbar, listeners. That's what, 23 minutes? Very unlucky there, Macaulay. Long ball forwards. Jake Cooper stayed ahead. He's one ahead of there. That's bouncing around. Duncan Watmore back to goal. Jules Honeyman. He gets clipped. That's a free kick. The referee has to give that one. Edge of the penalty area. He was trying to jink his way through into a shooting position. Left side of the penalty area. 25 minutes. Danger free kick. Honeyman standing over it. Saville standing over it. We don't really have a shot man, do we? We don't really have a shot merchant like we had with Zian. Well, personally, I do think that became his only real talent towards the end, particularly. Well, if Honey's going to have a go, he might do. Looks like he's shaping up for it. Here we go. It will be Jules Honeyman. He gets it on target. It's no real power. The goalkeeper takes easily. On target, but no sting. No venom. 27 minutes gone, dear listeners. Mill increasingly looking the more dangerous of the two sides. But as we've seen a few times this season, we've got to make those periods of pressure count, haven't we? Very unlucky with that shot on the hit the crossbar from Macaulay Langstaff. Best chance of the half by a long way. But we've had some good pressure, some good possession. So keep on doing what we're doing. I met Ben Thompson in the week, listeners. We did a wall talk interview with Ben. What a lovely bloke, what a lovely boy. Millwall man, obviously. Playing these days for Bromley via Stevenage and Gillingham. I think Peterborough, he said. Do have a listen. Do watch or listen to the wall talk interviews. We try and do our best to make them interesting. Obviously, player interviews can be a bit difficult sometimes, but we've had some good guests so far. I've been pleased with each of them. Much more, interest and content than you might have expected. Let me just say that. But that'll be coming out fairly soon. The Ben Thompson interview on Wall Talk. Do have a listen to it. This is a free kick. Joe Bryan floats it forward. That's too close to the goalkeeper, who's wearing like a high-vis orange in the Derby goal. That's a cut out by Joe Bryan, the aforesaid. The overhit that. That's ball down the left side to Macaulay Langstaff. He's into the penalty area. He will want to put amends for that. That's one of left-sided corner. Skillful player on the ball. Clearly Neil Harris sees him as much as a creator as a finisher. Anyway, corner. Joe Bryan after all that. 34 minutes on my clock now, but there will be time to be added. It's a curling corner, punched away single-handedly by the goalkeeper. Casper de Noor being physically manhandled there, but nothing seen. It's ball almost through the eye of the needle. It falls to Romain Esse. Edge of the penalty. What can he do? He's got a shot on goal. It's trickled right of the right post there. Thought he managed to work a bit of his magic, but went wide right. Good existential question. Who the fucking hell are you? Derby. I say this every so often, listeners, but that's one of my favourite pieces of graffiti. I've told you this 10 times over, I know, but I'm getting into my mid-60s now, so I'm entitled to repeat myself. Above the Coldblow Lane entrance from Trundley's Road. If you come, you'll get done, comma, Villa. If you come, you'll get done, Villa. Always wonderful, wonderful. It's gone now. Should have been preserved, some kind of order, like they do with Banksy's and that mural down there of Michael Heseltine riding on a cruise missile. Anyone that knows the area will know what I'm talking about. That should have been preserved as well, that bit of graffiti. I did notice that the plaque has gone as well from Coldblow Lane. When we did our walk last week, Bill and I, the plaque that was on the corner of John Williams Close, as it is so-called named. And a plaque commemorating the fact that Denver's a bit low though, very nickable position, and it has indeed been nicked. I dare say Lewisham will be in, overdrive to relocate it and get a new one. But this is the 2 on the right side of the Millwall half. Free kick. Joe Bryan flying in there. Didn't draw a yellow for that. It's going to be a free kick on the right side. The 2 went past him. Joe went in there hell bent, riding his motorcycle to hell. Took the man. Anyway, free kick on the right side. It's on 37 minutes. We've got to stay switched on here. These are the moments where we've been a bit slapdash on occasions this season. Danger situation. In comes the cross. Headed back. A little bit of head tennis in there. Falls to the 17 again on the right. He's got another cross in. It's deep, deep, deep. Skids off of Tanganga's head, but they're still in possession, listeners. A little bit of itchy moment. It's headed up and away. 19 with a dangerously high challenge. That was a bit of lack of communication there between Tanganga and Jensen. We do survive it, thankfully. But Tanganga kicked the ball off of Jensen's hands there, but Millwall on the break now. This is Duncan Watmore. He's got Langstaff on these left sides. He cuts inside. What can he do? He's got nothing to aim at, he says. Finds Romain Esse. He finds George Honeyman on the left side. Balled in, little flick header. That's far post. Ryan Leonard was lurking. Gives the goalkeeper a bit. Oh, there's a little bit of argy-bargy. The 35's come and tripped him over. I think the 35 want to have a word with Ryan about clipping his goalkeeper. Ryan Leonard, wearing his bandage, caught a little clip off the 35. A little bit of handbags for a moment there, listeners. We like a bit of handbags. Shouting across the stadium. I love the idea that you can shout at the line on the far side of the stadium and he's going to hear you and get your point. Oh, poor ball by Jake Cooper. Releases the 27. This is the 10. Just outside the Mill penalty area. We'll have a shot. He's put it over the bar. High and handsome. Exodus going downstairs. Yeah, incidentally, this new pub, which is located over by the Cold Blow and the Dockers stand, serving Spitfire, has put a Shepherd Neame commission. Well done for the club for doing that. Drop of Spitfire, quite like a drop of Spitfire, don't you, dear listeners? And they're selling out the new bar, which is great to see, a pub-style bar on the site of the old club shop over by the East stand, Docker stand and the Cold Blow Lane end. Well done the club for arranging that, that's good to see. I mean, just short of 3,000 Derby fans have come down here today, listeners. I just heard them there for a moment. Can't see them, but I'd imagine that's a full upper deck. In comes the cross. It's a deep one. It's a through medley of players there, but Langstaff keeps away and just finds distance there. No one ahead of him. There is half-time. Millwall 0, Derby County 0. Both sides will have thrusted and parried, to use a foiling lingua. Millwall best chance really, obviously, with that moment where McCauley shot from the right side against the crossbar. But we've looked all right in patches without really turning those phases of possession and passing into direct chances. But overall, I think calls to be satisfied at half-time. Millwall 0-0. Millwall 0, Derby County 0.
Achtung, Millwall.
Second half is underway, dear listeners. Millwall attacking, of course, the Cold Blow Lane end in accordance with the Venerable Bede's write-up in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, all those 1,000+ years ago. How about that? That's incredible foresight by one of the great figures of English history, early English history. He said Millwall must attack the Cold Blow Lane end in the second half. LBR on the press forward. This is the 27. I thought there was a hint of offside there, but not. Who's going to give a penalty? No, he's given offside. I thought the way to 27, he was slightly touched, I think. He went over very dramatically, like the dying swan in the ballet Swan Lake. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but the linesman had indeed given it offside. I thought he was offside. But of course, you have this modernist trend now that you don't give the decision until something happens. It's very odd. Don't ask me, listeners. I'm dinosaur from the past. Anyway, would have been a penalty if the man had been deemed onside, in my opinion. About 2 minutes into the second half here. Stats have been looked at by Neil Harris during the international break. We've used the fewest players in the championship. Well, that's a lack of bench impact, as the headline has it on South London Press website. That don't surprise me. I dare say it don't surprise you, listeners. The lack of impact from the bench, that's been crucial for our opponents, but not so crucial for us because we lack the resources. I can't be bothered to read the statistics article. It's all about expected goals and big moments, and there are podcasts devoted to this kind of stuff. I don't do that. As you know, listeners, I rely on my own instincts. There's a left-sided corner. Wit. I declare my wit, like Oscar Wilde. And, life of following the Lions. I don't look at expected goals and whatever the other metrics are that they use now. There are some kids out there whose lives revolve around such things. Anyway, this is the left-sided corner. It's Jules Saville. It's pumped in at pace. It runs clear. This is back into the mix from Casper de Noor. It's still bobbling around, but it will be hoofed clear by a yellow shirt. We're coming towards 48 minutes, looking at 49 minutes. My take on the first half and the game so far really is that both sides lack clinical cutting edges up front. Both have had fair amounts of possession, and both have actually looked decent in possession in less than dangerous areas, and we've broken a few times. We did hit the crossbar, I do accept that, from Macaulay Langstaff. He's probably our most natural finisher, but we're using him wide of the danger zone, so basically neither side really has looked like scoring a goal so far. Let's hope that continues from the Derby perspective anyway. Lovely little back pass to 27. Shot well wide of us. A shot so wide that I might have produced it, dear listeners. That's how bad that shot was from the 27. Lovely ball down the line. Macaulay Langstaff beats his man on the right side. Ball into the box. Falls almost into the path of Duncan Watmore from the bat away from the defender there. Lovely little take by Macaulay Langstaff. Shot into the danger area, but it falls almost in the path of Watmore, but it goes to a right-sided corner. Good defending, got to be said. 51 minutes there, listeners. Last-ditch defending, let's put it that way. Drink Carabao, listeners. I've never drunk Carabao in my life, and I do have no intention to ever drink it. That's my take on the Carabao question, if there is such a question. Now, I'm either seeing things, and I stand to be corrected here, dear listeners. The Dockers stand is illuminated in sunshine, but I think the Coldblow Lane sign above the Coldblow Lane stand has been picked out in lights. I think we've got little dotted lights on the COLD logo up there. It's quite a nice idea if that's so. I hope it is so, and I'm not seeing things. This is Ryan Leonard on the right side, middle spreading play. George Honeyman now. Comes towards 54 minutes. Essay, beautiful backheel pass to George Honeyman. Oh, he gets clipped there, surely. No, Essay gets clipped. It's going to be a free kick for Millwall. I thought Honeyman got fouled. Essay collected and gets clipped on the edge of the D. Fairly central position. But as ever, who do we have that can take a free kick from this distance? Joe Bryan's over the ball. 59 minutes, going towards 60. Big chance here for Millwall. Get a shot on goal at least. Joe Bryan high over the bar. High over the bar. Flags fluttering in the breeze on the Docker stand. It's going to be poppy season soon, dear listeners. I ordered my poppy off of the Royal British Legion website. You can get the various sports ones. You get England ones, and of course Millwall ones. I've ordered them myself, a Millwall one, £6. The goalkeeper just put the ball straight from a goal kick into touch. Oh dear, Beckton Park level, Sunday morning. So yeah, it's going to be looming soon. I've ordered mine. Always a good cause, Royal British Legion poppy appeal. Beautiful ball through to Ryan Essay on the left side. That's been put to left-sided corner as he passed it in. Mill knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell. In it comes, it's a deep one. Players flying, bodies flying all directions, nothing being given in now. Referee gives a free kick to Derby for something I cannot tell you about, listeners. There's bodies flying in all directions there. Great tackle, Ryan Leonard. Crowd love that. Winger in full stride, Ryan Leonard seemingly beaten, gets the tackling. Mendes Lang, number 11. Crowd stood up for that like he'd scored a goal, listeners. A few quotes from Neil Statt's interview with the South London Press. We've used the second least amount of players, and we had the lowest impact from the bench in the first 9 games in goals scored or goal contributions, and he says that paints a picture. He says that this lack of resources, the players available to us, is why we are 2, 3 or 4 points behind what theoretically we should have. This is Femi Aziz coming in for Duncan Watmore. We're on 64 minutes. Harris continues, we need a fitter squad, we need to get the younger players who have come in without any Millwall or Championship experience up to speed as quickly as we can. SA getting bumped there, but nothing doing from the referee. I think SA's starting to get into the zone where he's no longer seen as a youngster, he's now seen as an established Championship player and therefore doesn't get decisions he might have got even a few months ago. It's my in-depth theory, dear listeners. The halfway point of the second half, huff and puff by both sides in truth. No real chances in the second half for either side. Plenty of effort. A lot of, hard graft and grind, but so far nothing between the two teams. That Macaulay-Langstaff crossbar hitting in the first half remains the only real moment of decisiveness, almost. I'm sure none of that makes any sense. That's a grammatical nightmare, listeners. 69, 70 minutes is a Millwall throw-in, probably a long one, I guess, from Ryan Leonard, just a few yards short of the right side corner flag. The big guns have gone forwards, Tanganga and Cooper. Aziz. No one forward for Derby at all from this situation, just Joe Bryan back there. It's a long one from Ryan Leonard, it's bouncing around, it's falls to Joe Bryan. What can he do from distance? High and wayward, honestly. 70 minutes. Point after touchdown. That's what the gentleman in front of us. I think, is it NFL weekend? I think, are they playing at Wembley tomorrow? I don't keep track of these things. Millwall substitution. Ivanovic is coming in. Langstaff is coming out, dear listeners. Some disagreement with that decision, don't know. He played well, Langstaff, I like him. In comes Ivanovic for his just 15 plus minutes. This is Aziz now. Runs into his man slightly. Not sure what I'm making of Femi Aziz so far, listeners. Ineffective would be the word I would probably come up with at the moment. That may be unfair on the boy, I don't know. But the cameo moments we've seen of him, he hasn't done much by my definition of the word. What do you think of Femi Aziz so far? Room for improvement, that's for sure. So after the Derby subs, it's going to be a left-sided corner. Taking forever. There it comes, near post. Flicked over in the ball. It's gone in the net, fucking hell. Back header. Fucking hell. Cold over the heads of everyone, came in off the back post, it seemed to me. Poor defending. Very untidy goal to concede, dear listeners. I don't know what to say. This is Derby on the break now. Second goal will be beyond gutting. It's been put over the bar. As ever, how many times have we got to say it this season? We don't take chances, then you don't win football matches. There's been a lot of articles on the South London Press about how our league position is looking a false one. I don't buy that. The league position is exactly where you deserve to be. And as much as we play some decent stuff at times, we play some decent stuff in this game, you don't score goals, then you're not going to win football matches. Anyway, we've still got a few minutes yet to play out in this, so let's not get too gloomy. More Millwall substitutions. This is Kelly coming in for Saville. Wintle coming in for Denora. So new defensive midfielders. Danny Kelly, isn't it? Danny Kelly. Can't think of the boy's first name. Youngster signed from Celtic. Ball breaks. Ivanovic catches a lucky break. He's through on goal. What can he do? 1-0! Mihail Ivanovic! 1-each. Lucky break midfield. He takes it through round the goalkeeper. Scores it with aplomb, dear listeners. 1-each. Does a windmill in front of the Dockers stand in celebration. Oh my Gideon! Let's watch it again. Catches a break in midfield, it falls into his path, but he's still going to take it around the goalkeeper. He does it, keeps his nerve and slots it away into the right side of the goal. 1-each. 85 minutes, maybe 86 on the clock. Well, the game's still wide open. Amazing, given how depressed I felt just a few seconds ago. That's his first goal for the club, Ivanovic. Correct me if I'm wrong, dear listeners. Let's hope we don't concede a goal here. Don't fall flat on our faces, Millwall style. Let's raise spirits around the den, dear listeners, I can tell you that much. My spirits were flagging a few moments ago. Were yours? Dying few seconds of added time now, listeners. It's been a frenetic second half. There is the final whistle. It finishes 1-each. Probably a fair result in all truth. The Derby goal had more than a touch of self-destruction about it. I'll have to see it again. I didn't see the replay in the stadium. To be beaten from a left-sided curling corner, looked like off the post at the far post. Via the goalkeeper trying to block it is self-destruction, poor defending. But then equally to take your chance, as Ivanovic did from that fortunate fall of the ball on midfield to level it, really nicely finished goal, was really well done. Apart from the Langstaff crossbar hitting in the first half, it was a game of a lot of effort, a lot of huff and puff, without any real chances for either side, in truth. 100% effort on both sides, I think, that's all I'm going to say. Man of the match, Roman Esse continues to shine as an object of beauty in a sea of mundane. Defensively, I thought we did well today against a difficult side. I'll go with Romain Esse as my man of the match today. But you can name check Jeff Tanganga, Jake Cooper, to be honest. And obviously the late impact of Ivanovic, who came and pulled a point out of the fire, really, because that was looking like it was slipping away from us. But there we are, from a sunny den, with the late autumn shadow stretching across into the Docker stand now. It finishes Millwall 1, Derby County 1.
Achtung, Millwall.
Positives first, delighted for big Serbian lad, Mika, to get his first goal for us, and what a composed finish as well. We've had 3 really good chances before that. Macca's had 2 really unlucky, hit the post. I thought keeper's made a worldly save with his feet, and I thought George Honeyman's in the first half was a really good chance. The amount of balls we put in their box, and the balls that bounced in their box. I'd like to have been out on the pitch, I've got to be honest, today. That's the positives. The negatives, the balls end up in our goal again. How can that ball go in our goal? It's just not. Look, we've let, I think that's 5 goals in 8 games, so we're not shipping goals, but it's another set play. The ball finds its way in our net. We've got to have a better mentality than that. But the character to come back when they'd gone to a back 5 as well, to get that moment was strong. Look, we're the better team again. But I can't keep talking about being a better team without winning games. The boys are pleased inside to come back and get a point, and I just pointed out the fact I don't think that's acceptable for us at the Den. I think we should be winning that game.
Well, that was the familiar voice, dear listeners, of manager Neil Harris, and joining me to chew over yesterday's 1-1 draw and Neil's comments after the game is another familiar voice. It's Ben Anthony. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Hello, Nick. Thanks for having me on. How you doing? You good?
Yeah. I'm struggling with new technology here, listeners, but we won't delve into that. That's of no interest to you. All you want to do is hear the end result, which hopefully will be okay. Strange game yesterday, Ben. I must admit, I came away from the Den reflecting on the fact that it took a really well taken goal by one of our new prospects to retrieve anything from a match that we should have, in my opinion, we should have won. That was Neil's point there. And he asked a question as to how we can concede such a sloppy goal. I mean, I think that's probably a good question for him to answer rather than anyone else. But it was a very strange match because I just thought we never quite got going, and yet we had the better of the 90 minutes. How did you see it yesterday?
Yeah, I said to my mates in the ground, it felt like a really weird game. It felt like we absolutely dominated that game, but didn't have a huge amount of chances. When I'm coming on here, I normally make some notes during the game, and I've made a huge amount of notes. So it was a very weird game. It was a rubbish goal to concede. It was basically an assist from one of our players. I think it might have been Aziz, and another set piece cock up, which we've seen happen over the last couple of years. And a really well taken goal, but it was maybe the fourth one that we should have put away.
Yeah.
So if you don't take your chances, you get punished in this league.
Well, this is it. I mean, there've been a few articles online where Neil has basically said that our league position. I think some of the leading players, Ryan Leonard, I think, that our league position is slightly false. I don't buy that because I think the league table gives you an exact location of where you are as a team and your quality. And as you've rightly put it there, if you don't score goals and you don't finish chances, such as George Honeyman's opportunity, where having watched the replay this morning, in real time, I thought it was quite a nicely taken chance. It was probably the wrong angle for a shot. He may have done better to put it back into the more central part of the penalty area, because I think Duncan Watmore was lurking there, but that's hindsight. But then, of course, there was Macaulay Langstaff, who I thought he'd hit the crossbar. I think I've said the crossbar in my live piece that I did, but it was actually hit the post. I thought it was genuinely unlucky there, Ben. I thought that was a nicely worked moment in a bit of a desert of chances, really. But that was a nice one.
Yeah, I mean, both of his chances were nicely taken. I think the second one was a save from the keeper, and he's getting into that position. He's creating the chances for himself. I guess the harsh football reality is his job is to put one of those in the back of the net. He'll be harsh on himself, I imagine, as well. But they were both good chances, but we're talking about chances and not goals, unfortunately.
Absolutely. I mean, one of my questions, because like yourself, I make notes to myself post-match, and one of my questions, which I wanted to put to you, but also put to the listeners, really, is: are we misusing Macaulay Langstaff? Because he's clearly, the fact he hit the post there is, I'd put that as an unlucky. It's on target, but it's just a few millimetres away from being in the net. But he's pulling wide a lot. He's acting as a creator and as a kind of an assist merchant rather than somebody that's in the danger zone finishing chances, because that's what we've signed. I just wonder whether we're misusing him, whether he's being misplayed, and doesn't seem to be room for a two. Whether there will be now in the wake of Mihailo's, increasingly assured performances when he does come into the game. Whether it's time to go two up front. We are just not scoring goals enough, Ben, are we? And we need more presence up front than what we have at the moment.
I'm just not convinced that that's what Harris wants to do. He doesn't.
No.
He seems very reluctant to put two up front. Even when we're chasing a game, he subbed off Langstaff for Ivanovic. So yeah. It sort of feels like he's sort of gone off any kind of two up front system.
There's a strange. I don't know if I'm picking up on the wrong vibes here, listeners, but there's a strange strangeness to the den these days, in that we have this odd system, Ben, where we have recruitment teams and the director of football making signings that it allows the manager, or head coach, I should call him, not the manager. This is the point. For Neil Harris to be slightly semi-detached from the consequences of signings, because even in his little post-match piece there, he calls Mihailo Ivanovic the big Serb. Joking, but I always believe that jokes mask a certain truth, and there's an odd sense that some of the players. I'm going to come on to Femi Aziz shortly, but there's an odd sense that there are just two. It's like having two cooks in the same kitchen. It's never really going to work. I mean, do you pick up on this, or am I reading too much into it? Do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of both here. I think there's going to be players at the club that Harris wouldn't have particularly bothered to sign. And I think there's going to be players that Harris would have wanted and they would have gone out to try and get them for him. I think there's going to be a mixture of the two. You do wonder if... I get the impression that Aziz isn't really a player that Harris chose. I think it's a player that was chosen by the club.
Yeah.
I don't know about Ivanovic. I think someone like Josh Coburn, though, I could see being a Neil Harris pick, if you see what I mean. Unfortunately, he's crocked. So.
He's crocked.
He's on Bobby Backache's...
on his hit list. It's just a very odd divergence at times. I mean, obviously, when anyone puts a camera and they sit down in a staged interview, it's all nicey, but I just find some of these little moments a little bit odd. I mean, thankfully, Mihailo Ivanovic caught a break in the second half. We'd gone behind in the end after a lot of hard grind of not very much across the first and then the bulk of the second half. We'd gone behind to really sloppy defending, Ben. You mentioned Femi Aziz, whose only contribution was a brilliant flick header at the near post to beat the entire Mill defence and allow the scramble at the far post that eventually went in the net.
Derby's man of the match, wasn't he?
Derby's man of the match, but that was a match winning. Neil Harris has referred to game changing substitutions, and that really was, because it put us behind in a game where we didn't deserve to be behind. I mean, I don't think anyone deserved particularly to be in front. We may have shaded it, but, as you've said rightly, you don't score the goals, it's going to stay at 0. So 0-0 seemed a fair reflection, to be honest. But there we are, a great flick header at the near post, and lo and behold, it's gone in the net. Poor defending, because, I mean, that includes Femi Aziz. If he's going to come back into the danger zone and do defensive work, he's got to get it right. And that was poor, to say the least. I'm not convinced by the boy. Are you?
No, not at all. I don't think he's very good. I know he's come up from League One, and I know it's harsh on players to do that, but I've just not seen anything from him to convince me. He started the last game, I think, didn't he? But I wasn't able to watch that game, so maybe I'm being harsh. But I've not seen a lot from him, to be honest. And I'd rather, when he's back, and I think he's back next game, I'd rather in that sort of position we put Imaku on from the bench.
Yeah, I agree. At least Imaku gives a shit, or makes a show of giving a shit. I mean, it led him down a rocky road last time out, because obviously he was professionally outmatched and got sent off by an experienced defender there. For reacting, but he's got to learn from that. But at least he does show some spirit, and I'm not seeing it from Femi. And I don't want to say that about a Millwall player, but I just don't see what the attraction was. I can't see what the potential, what somebody's looked at there and said, oh, okay, we've got to have Femi as he's a raw but a talented kid. You can see it sometimes. I mean, and I would say this about Marco, he is raw. But you can see some talent, you can see some potential there if he can only hone that talent. But I just don't see much with Aziz. So, game changer there, but at the wrong end of the pitch, and we're a goal behind to a bit of comic cuts scrambling on the line. I was going to also criticise, and I think I'll call it criticise, Lucas Jensen, because I'm not convinced he communicates particularly well with the back line, Ben. There was a moment in the first half where a ball came in from the right side, and I think Jeffet Tanganga took it off his hands almost to clear it, because
that's right.
And there was a few moments. There's been moments across the season where he's done well on occasion, but I'm not sure he speaks particularly well or doesn't command his area, and that's not good for a championship level goalkeeper. Are you struck on him, Jensen?
I think he's all right. I'm kind of happy with Jensen. I think he makes enough good saves, and I think he had a really rocky start, didn't he? There was a couple of crosses that just got waved into the box, and I guess you could argue that yesterday is a repeat of that. But he has developed that side of his game enough for me to show that he's sort of progressing.
Yeah,
I don't mind him as a player. I think he's a reasonable goalkeeper, and I think he's still in his first season. And
I'm being harsh, Ben.
Yeah. And you're upset that there was a group of I think they were Norwegians in.
I had they were all right. I don't mind. The Norwegians are welcome, listeners. They were fine.
They were having a great time yesterday. They had like people leading all the songs and getting into a row with the stewards. They proper got into it, and every time Jensen had a goal kick, they all got very excited. So
not of their own. Yeah, no, they were okay. I had no bother of them at all. Far from it. So a strange, sluggish performance. There's also a strange substitution when it did happen, which was Saville and Denor, who hadn't done much, I suppose. Really, it wasn't an impressive game for either of those two players. Double substitution then brings in Wintle and young Danny Kelly comes in. That's an odd substitution, I think. And this is illustrating this endless game of illustrating that we don't have much in the way of resources, Ben.
No, well, that's what I was going to say. If you actually look at the bench, we brought on our two attackers. We only had two attackers on the bench.
Yeah.
So all we had left was two midfielders, really, and some defenders. So we didn't have much in the way of options. I know Marky's back in the next game. I don't know about anyone else, but we're a bit light.
We're endlessly being promised Adam Mayor, and I'm hoping for a Leonardo da Vinci to come in. So I'm sure we're going to get B&Q emulsion rather than a Mona Lisa. But when he does finally make it back from the sick bed, I suppose
when he existed.
I'd forgotten. I live for his return, to be honest with you, Ben, to give us a bit more wing play with some.
Is that the cliche? It will feel like a new signing.
It really will, won't it? I mean, a lot of criticism, and not valid criticism. I think it was Graham from our show who made the point, and others have done too, about the poor set pieces, the poor quality of the corners and the set pieces. For a team that has to be built on dead ball situations, we really don't deliver the ball in with any aplomb, Ben. And I don't know what we do in training.
Really, free kicks where we can have a shot at goal, they're really poor.
Yeah.
I think it's Joe Bryan that takes most of them. I think they need to get someone else on them for me.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few wayward shots from Joe Bryan. I'm not going to particularly dig out Joe Bryan yesterday, listeners. He made one or two tackles that earned my and the West End's approval, and got a yellow card for his troubles. But that's the way to draw the love down the den. Ben,
I thought that was a great tackle, by the way. I thought it was a ridiculous yellow card.
Referee was poor. We're gonna, we sing this song every week, don't we? It was made for a very stop-start kind of game.
I think we've had worse, though. I don't think, it
wasn't the worst.
Season, so,
no, not by a long way. But yeah, it made for a stop-start game. It was a game of hard work. I can't fault the effort levels on either side. In fairness, Derby didn't show much in the way of attacking intent, but they certainly worked hard, as indeed did we. It's a clash of the journeyman footballers. Apart from one player who stands out like a diamond, like the Kohinoor setting the state crown. That's Romain Esse. How long can we keep Romain for, do you think, Ben? Because he stands out like he's a different level of his imagination almost outstrips everyone on that pitch at times, which doesn't always work to our advantage, but you can just see his mind on a different level.
Yeah, the two things that go in our favour there is he clearly wants to play football.
Yeah,
and championship level is where he's at the moment. Of course, he has the potential to go much higher, and so he may choose to stay for a period of time because of that. he has recently signed a new contract as well.
He
so
has,
that's a real
yeah.
plus for us. If somebody does come in, they've got to play. They need to pay some proper money in order to get hold of him. So I think I can see us certainly keeping him this season. I don't think January is going to be a risk for us, I don't think. But maybe the summer could be a time.
Agree.
But that's the time with D-Cell. We've got time to then get someone else in.
Yeah. Yesterday's draw leaves us 2 points above relegation. It's way too early yet to, I suppose, 10 games into the season, we're starting to now see the table settle to something like its longer term, formation. A bit early yet to be worrying about relegation, but we do need to start winning some games, Ben. Obviously, starting Wednesday night against a Plymouth side that took a 5-0 pasting yesterday. I'm hoping that Wayne Rooney is still in charge for Wednesday, because normally the usual move is to sack the manager just before they come to the Den and get a decent performance. And I'm hoping that it's still going to be Wayne Rooney and Plymouth for Wednesday night, because we need a win there, mate.
It's a weird league though. Kenny Jackett, I think, was it in the family book? I can never remember now, but he said it was 12 games, I think. So
yeah, it's a quarter of the season, roughly, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so you can judge the season and the table where we are after 12 games. And it's that bizarre league where if we win the next 2 games, you'd be going, oh, we're actually doing all right. But if we don't win the next one, we lose the next 2 games, we'd be going, oh, this could be a disaster. So it's just such a silly, stupid league. But I think a win on Wednesday would make everyone feel a bit better. We've only got 2 wins on the board, and I don't think that's good enough. We need something.
Absolutely. Let's keep our fingers crossed for Wednesday night, because I'm going to get a bit itchy and scratchy if we finish up with another draw at home to Plymouth, and then we've got Swansea away next Saturday, which is always a tough gig, and then with some 2 tough games against Burnley and I think it's Leeds. So a win would be lovely. It would be a great relief, blessed relief.
Did Plymouth get absolutely spanked at the weekend, didn't they?
5-0. Yeah, but got beat by Cardiff. So this is a very Millwall situation that's being set up for us Wednesday night here, Ben. Because
can anyone see the big banana skin in front of us?
I can see it. Can you, dear listeners? Can you see it out there? We both can. There we are. So a strangely dissatisfying finish. Although it was a great goal by Ivanovic. I mean, he caught a break in midfield and the ball ran through for him. But to show that kind of composure, Ben, I can see why he's been signed. We've slated Femi Aziz earlier on. But we can't help but acknowledge that was a cool piece of skill. Go around the goalkeeper and put it between 2 defenders for a much-needed equaliser. I think the boy looks like the real deal so far.
He's got ability with his feet, and he's got a bit of pace as well as the height. So he potentially looks like a good all-rounder. Yeah, just needs that bit of playing time now.
Yeah, let's hope he gets it. I'd like to see. I don't know if changing formations is Neil's way or why we're so wedded now to 4-2-3-1. Once upon a time, Neil was wedded to 4-4-2, and that seems to have been like a road to road to Downham, not road to Damascus, but the road to Downham conversion. Now we're in the kind of modern. It's not quite a Christmas tree formation, but we don't seem to discuss 2 striker formations anymore, but we do have 2 good strikers there, and when with a dearth of goals, it's like saying I won't drill for underground water, because on principle we won't do it, and I can't quite get the thinking there, but there we are.
I certainly think there's room for 2 up front if we've gone 1-0 down and it's the second half and you bring someone on. I think there's room for it there, definitely.
You think? Yeah. There we are. Ben, big thank you for persevering with logging onto the new system today, mate. I do appreciate your time. Sunday morning. Big thank you.
Just before we go, Nick, I think we should mention the 4th minute applause for
good call.
Condolences, of course, to Matt Smith and family.
His young son young son medicine. I can't imagine it. It was a spontaneous thing, and big well done to those that organise it on social media, because it's not an easy thing to get going. But I think it illustrates the esteem in which Matt Smith was held, and I think everyone listening to this show can. I say you can put yourself in his shoes. I can't imagine being in that situation. So,
no, not at all.
And shout out to Steve Bruce as well, because it was his grandson and Matt Smith's son and his partner. We don't know her name, but what a tragic moment. So it was a touching gesture, and we, as ever, Millwall fans do step up to the plate when these things matter. So good call.
And well done to the Derby fans as well, who were joining in as well. So
to be on, to be aware of it. I know it's been publicised online, and but well done to everyone yesterday. It made a big impact. I mean, there's pictures of it on social media, so you can see that. There we are, dear listeners. Another draw. Let's go on to Wednesday night and hope for better. So, big thank you, Ben. Thanks for joining me, mate. Sunday morning, I do appreciate it. Pleasure. And thank you to you too, dear listeners, for tuning in. I will be back on Monday. We've got quite a few voice notes coming in, so I'll be doing a voice note show tomorrow. But for now, from Ben and myself, thank you for listening to Achtung Millwall. It's Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.